I grew up in the world of metal and punk, in which I still do love. I do feel the need to finally see what the rest of the world has to offer. My name is Aaron, and I grew up as a metalhead. Well, welcome back everybody. I hope that you're excited for today because we are doing the album review for the Renaissance of Super Junior. Their 10th album. These boys have been hard at work. So, there's not really a whole lot that I need for setup here. The only thing that I will say is that this is the album that has forced me to do a couple of new things. So, you're going to see very much on this. And the changes are, I made an MVP sticker that will go on the ratings for when I find the album MVP. And there's not going to be much to hide from because we already know if you've seen it, Burn the Floor is already that. So, something like Burn the Floor comes on, and I think that, that's the album MVP. It will be getting a special little killdeer bird. If you didn't know, my name comes from a bird. Yeah, pretty interesting. So, let's start it off, right? Shall we? Here we go. We're doing Super Junior, the Renaissance. Let's start. Oh, blew my ears off.
Take you on a something. Take you on a something. Take you on a something. Fresh. 모두 기다려 슈퍼. 우리 시작부터 슈퍼. 같이 마치 슈퍼 두퍼. Cause down. You got me something. 다시 크게 외쳐 슈퍼. 우리 같이 없이 슈퍼. 같이 마치 슈퍼 두퍼. Cause down. You got me something. 흩어졌던 별들이 마침내 제자리와 분위기 반전시켜 또 한 번 네맘 울음칠 시간 너의 부신 빛이 겹쳐진 순간 타오르는 shine Take you on a something Hey Take you on a something Take you on a something Take you on a something Take you on a something
So that is an intro. Obviously, you can tell because it's a little bit shorter. But I did want to give it a little bit of a shout out because honestly, to me, this is the perfect way to start the album. They actually legitimately came in and said, just in case we forgot who we are, this is who we are. And they dropped just an insane intro. It's wild.
숨긴 신사 여러분 나를 보고 따라해 Gonna have a good time 자유로웠던 시간이 멈췄던 지난 날의 누구들의 박수 How we do it? 끝났어? 이제 극복? 아직 끝이 아닌데 인내심만 또 한계가 다다라 터질 것만 같은 모두 We getting crazy now 이걸 놓지 마 누구든 현실의 공감 이전에 없던 것들 이게 내 모두가 함께 Oh my God Everybody now Here we go 함께 하고 싶은 마음은 잠시만 접어두고 This is my house party Yeah 새롭게 만든 룰에 맞게 서로를 지키는 멋진 멜로디 This is my house party 걷자 다와서 마지막 한 사람까지 일어날 때 맞춰 House party Hands up beyond the wall 닿지 않아도 모두 연결되는 세계 들어박혀 뭐뭐 하고 놀아 깍지거나 해봐 good time
당연하게 누렸던 평범한 날이 버킷리스트가 됐어 자 모여 party
가자 콘서트
마스칸서
Hey 어림없는 말
자유롭던 날의 대가를 비싸게 치르는 건지도 몰라 우린 지킬 건 지켜 모두 함께란 것 이겨낼 수 있다 믿음 Oh my God 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 Oh my God 들어 박혀버려 넘어간 짚어간 위험하다 그럼에도 일단은 버려 그러다가 지켜버려 무슨 말이 필요해 변명 따윈 잡아둬 어떤 말로 위로해 리더 listen not 필요했어
오늘 내가 너의 소소한 일탈 걷잡을 수 없이 커진 나의 욕망
새로운 남자 이미 탑
그만큼 거리를 둬
겁나 빠른 속도로 쏘아
전례를 찾지 못해 자 그럼에도 우리는 또 이기는 방법을 찾아내요 자기만 살자고 손길을 뿌리친 너 모두 가라 Everybody should sing now 완전히 달라진 세상에 맞춰볼 두 손이 이제는 절대 해요
Everybody now
Here we go 함께하고 싶은 마음 잠시만 접어두고 This is my house party 새롭게 만든 룰에 맞게 서로를 지키는 멋진 멜로 This is my house party 걱정 나와서 마지막 한 사람까지 일어날 때 맞춰 House party Hands up beyond the world 하지 않아도 모두 연결되는 세계 House party
누가 시작했던 간에 붐붐붐 길고 넓은 파장이 번져가
끝내는 건 누구일까 우리 속에 해답이 또 존재해
I see the future in your eyes right now 이젠 나 거침없이 two hands up in the air Everybody now
Here we go 함께하고 싶은 마음 잠시만 접어두고 This is my house party 새롭게 만든 룰에 맞게 서로를 지키는 멋진 멜로 This is my house party 걱정 나와서 마지막 한 사람까지 일어날 때 맞춰 House party Hands up beyond the world 하지 않아도 모두 연결되는 세계 House party
House Party. Now, the thing that I find so interesting about that is that that song has multiple identities. And honestly, I think it actually ended up helping out that track a lot. Now, I thought for sure, the first couple times that I listened to this, I think I've been through this album somewhere between 25 and 35 times now. And, sometimes I always think to myself, like, what's going to be the song that I'm going to have to skip on, that I would say I would skip on the album. And I thought it was going to be the House Party. I just lost my brain there for a second. I thought it was going to be House Party, especially the first couple times I listened to it. But you know what? No, actually, I don't think I would skip this track. It actually just ends up really reeling me back in. It is, like, it's really fun. And it's really cool, but like the thing that's really cool is that had they just kept it as House Party, I think that it wouldn't have worked. But because they kind of like inserted these like two extra, almost like mini songs inside of it, it brings me right back. And, I really appreciate that. And, I think the song has many identities, but it does not have an identity crisis. And in the end of it all, it's just a raging party, and it works out for the better. So it's crazy. So now we're going to move on to Burn the Floor.
애어린 그대의 맘속에 간직한 불꽃이 텅 빈 가슴에 내 안에 어느새 가득 번지네 날 부르는 그 목소리 춤추듯 고운 몸짓이 내 맘 깊이 더 깊이 더 깊이 번져 타오를 테니 긴 어둠에 쓰러지던 밤 길을
춤을 나와 춰주오 좀 더 숨가쁜 춤을 내게 춰주오 새벽을 일으켜 그는 날 일으켜 어두운 밤을 태워낸 채내 맘을 태우네 가장 뜨거운 춤을 나와 춰주오 좀 더 숨가쁜 춤을 내게 춰주오 난 그대 안에서 그대 내 안에서 절대 꺼지지 않게 해 다시 한번 이렇게 그 불빛 붉은 옷자락 내 심장을 감싸 바람이 거세질수록 화려해 그대와 나 더 붉게 타오르라 꺼지지 않으리라 위험할수록 아름답게 둘만의 왈츠를 잠을 열어 하얀 달빛 넘어 춤을 추는 그대 바라보네 막을 열어 밤은 눈이 멀어 절대 우리 막아서지 못해 주저없이 던져 날 품에 안고 타올라 자 노래하라 모두 노래하라 밤의 무도회가 다시 시작돼
All right, just wanted to make sure. I always like to make sure that it clicks over to the next one. Burn the Floor. It is, to me, a perfect song. And I don't mean just like a perfect song within K-pop. No. No, I do not. To me, this is a perfect song. A perfect song. That means, personally, I would put it up there with some of the greatest songs that you could probably ever name. Stairway to Heaven. Burn the Floor. Bohemian Rhapsody. Burn the Floor. Stuff like that. I really do think that. And in fact, I feel a little hesitant to say it, but I feel like I got to go with my gut on this. Not only is this the album MVP, and not only is this a perfect song, this might be the greatest song to come out of Korea. This might be the best song in all of K-pop. It's like speed running the best things that you hear on Broadway, and then you get some like tinges of like opera, and then you get some tinges of like Danny Elfman writing very wistful music, and then you just get this amazing like perfect rap. You get this perfect line, and you know, I think I could also kind of say that I think when it comes to the best singers in K-pop, Cry is definitely it. I don't think that that's much room for interpretation. I really do. If not, they're right up there in the top 3, top 2. And to this day, this is actually one of those songs that I will go and rewatch the performance multiple times in multiple different ways. I have actually stopped people from what they are watching to show them their performance for Burn the Floor. So, if that tells you anything, I truly think that that is an actual masterpiece. An actual masterpiece. Anyway, moving on to Paradox.
How do you know what is true, what is false? 너가 원한던 뭔데? 한없이 위로 또 다시 위로 어쩌면 나의 맘은 내가 길러라 내 그리고 한번 선택 위로 또 다시 길로 말하지 않을수록 가까이 다가와 어떻게 love suck for the love 익숙해 또 낯설어 넌 Baby 너무 위험해 woo woo 분명한 warning who know
Baby why you staring in the light 눈이 감아도 선명한 lights And sundown 내게 눈이 멀어서 I can come down 몸이 두근거려 Oh baby why you staring in the light 눈을 감아도 선명한 lights
멀어지려 할수록 가까이 다가와 어떡해 Let's roll the dice 어쩌면 같은 그림일지 몰라 무슨 저길이 몸에 그 한가운데로 To the paradise 밤이 눈 위로 날 이러기를 이 밤이 더 길어지지 않기를 빌어 Pray for the season I'm trying to find a way out but 가까워져 same time 너 피하는 동시에 따라가 내가 좀 패 너의 선택 뒤로 또 다시 길로 멀어지려 할수록 가까이 다가와 어떡해
I think that they were very bold to put Paradox right after Burn the Floor. But I will say that was the right decision. It is a very competent song. Whoops. Just smacked the microphone. It's a very competent song with a lot of twists and turns. And I think the interesting thing about it is that, and I said this actually once when I was doing the Dreamcatcher review. Sometimes songs can be so weird that it hurts the overall feel of everything, but then sometimes the weirdness of a song actually ends up becoming a benefit. And that is what Paradox was for me. I think it was a perfect way to kind of break up what we had already experienced to kind of let us go into the later half of the album. We're at the halfway point now with Closer. And the interesting thing is that in a sense, I feel like the writing for Paradox might be pretty close in power in terms of writing prowess to Burn the Floor. I think that it is an extremely powerful song. I think that it is a very cool song. I think that the whole song itself just is a absolutely just warping, mind crazy, just like mind warp. It's wild. It's really weird. And like I said, the weirdness could generally affect a song, but I actually think that it helps the song. And let's just kind of just go over the facts. The vocals on it are top notch. The rap in it is perfect. It brings in the aggression when it needs to. And then it really dissolves a lot of like what you've been going through in the song with the Paradox part. And it just really flips everything around and keeps you guessing. And honestly, I feel like that's one of those songs that if you sit down and listen to it, which I can kind of tell you, but like it seems like every single time I listen to the song, I pick up something new. This song is an actual paradox of music, and it is a very, very solid track. It uses its weaknesses for its strengths, and that is very hard to do. So, now we're going to move on to Closer.
Only been one night 나른해진 긴장감 설명할 순 없잖아 그 어떤 작품보다
완벽한 one night 내게 속삭여주세 그새 황홀해진 플레이 새벽의 정문의 것처럼 벅찬 이 기쁨 말라버린 내 맘 take it 짧은 이 밤을 지새 드디어 허락되는 이 시간 make a move 이미 시작했어 close up 더는 멈출 순 없어 no more 내게 가까이 더 closer 감춰진 경계를 다 무너뜨릴게 선 넘어갈 우리 Would you like, would you like, would you like, would you like, would you like here with me Would you like, would you like, would you like, would you like, would you like here with me 전부 알고 싶어 closer 선을 넘어 Would you like here with me 매일 밤 next to you 매일 밤 next to you 위험한 꿈을 꾸는 둘 형용할 수 없잖아 이성이 마비되나 모든 게 나 focus on you 너와 나의 sunset 붉게 물든 soul 둘만 느낄 everyday 비밀스런 every night 나비같이 sweet해 부드러운 groove 서로 강하게 더 원해 느낄 수 있니 이미 시작했어 close 더는 멈출 순 없어 no 내게 가까이 더 closer 내게 더 감춰진 경계를 다 무너뜨릴게 선 넘어갈 우리 Would you like, would you like, would you like, would you like, would you like here with me Would you like, would you like, would you like, would you like, would you like here with me 전부 알고 싶어 closer 선을 넘어 Would you like here with me 감사 끌어안고 stay 감사 황홀해지는 play 지금이 영원할 것처럼 벅찬 이 기쁨 뜨거워진 내 맘 닿게 짧은 이 밤을 지새 드디어 허락되는 이 시간 make a move 이젠 끝이 없어 close up 끝없이 더는 모를 순 없어 more 나를 자극해줘 closer 마지막 경계를 다 풀어버릴게 선 넘어갈 우리 Would you like, would you like, would you like, would you like, would you like here with me Would you like, would you like, would you like, would you like, would you like here would you like 전부 알고 싶어 close up 선 넘어 Would you like here with me Yeah Would you like here with me Yeah Would you like here with me
The interesting thing is that I think this is what I like to call the safe part of the album. Now, closer, serves a purpose, and that is to kind of bring down the melody a little bit. It's meant to kind of soften, right? You're starting to kind of, and I see this a lot actually with what I've noticed in some of these full-length albums, is that they will kind of lead into this, I keep hitting the mic, will lead into this kind of like end of the album kind of like calm. Now, I think that is an interesting choice. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't get into some hype songs later on down in any of these other albums that we've been through, but there always just seems to be this kind of like I said, kind of like this softening, and that's what the closer does. And I appreciate that because you start out with Super, House Party, Burn the Floor, and Paradox, and it's kind of like, whoa, this is a lot coming at you. And even though it's great, it is nice to have something that kind of breaks that into something a little bit more digestible. Like I said, its biggest problem is that it's probably just a little safe, and I think that's fine though, because the song is still a great song. It just it's a good diffuser. That's what it does. It diffuses the whole thing into this, like, now I just feel like a little more relaxed. I feel a little more at ease, not so tense. I don't feel like I'm like trying to understand it. It's just a nice diffusing, song to kind of bring it down. And I really appreciate that. It's something I think that was actually necessary for the song. Like I said, it's just a little safe. So, good song though. Good song. Moving on to The Melody.
한 장면도 버릴 게 없어 겁없이 뜨거웠던 시간들 한땐 연습 같은 세상도 지나보면 아름다운 기억뿐 닮은 게 하나 없던 우리가 만나 순간이 아닌 영원 노래하던 밤 그 뜨거웠던 목소리를 기억하니 너와 나만이 아는 이 노래를 우리의 시작이던 그때 멜로디 이 멜로디 불안한 많은 날들도 함께였기에 지켜낸 거야 다 포기하려 했던 순간도 하나였기에 이겨낸 거야 닮은 게 하나 없던 우리가 만나 순간이 아닌 영원 노래하던 밤 그 뜨거웠던 목소리를 기억하니 너와 나만이 아는 이 노래를 우리의 시작이던 그때 멜로디 그때 멜로디 기억해 어제보다 많은 내일을 우린 함께할 거야 세상 모든 게 달라지고 시간이 다른데도 변하지 않을 단 하나 한 주 옆에 내일도 알 수 없지만 너와 함께라면 노래할 거야 눈앞에 반짝이는 푸른 별과 함께 너와 나만이 아는 이 노래를 우리들만을 위한 그 멜로디 나와 불러주기 멜로디 함께 불러주기 멜로디 이 멜로디
The Melody is a very interesting song to me. Mainly because the fact of the matter is that I think that its name is exactly what it is. This is a very melodious song, and the vocals work so good that, you know, it just kind of is such a nice placement for the album. And, you know, the interesting thing is, like, I try to come up with what I feel like I truly feel. I try to come up with what would be the best way to describe music. And a lot of times when it comes to, every single time I listen to The Melody, one thing kept coming to mind, and that is just the fact that when I would close my eyes and listen to this song, I would just picture friends hanging out on a beach, nice drinks, you know, playing some volleyball, having fun. It's a warm breeze, the water's nice, and this song is playing over it. And I think that's kind of where we keep it, is just this nice warm vibe. The only problem with it is that I do have to say that, again, it does feel a little safe. It's kind of interesting because it kind of felt like that everything was so front loaded with like all the experimental and crazy stuff that we kind of enter, like I said, this kind of part, this little stretch of just safe songs, which is not a bad thing because it's still fantastic. But I just really think that it could, it's a little safe. That's all. So anyway, Raining Spell for Love. Let's move on.
말문을 먹는 한숨 말이 없는 입술 그 시간에서 너와 나 그곳에 아무도 없는 빗속 혼자만 남은 우산 그 허전함에 멈춰서 길을 막고 아닐 거야 내가 말 아무렇지 않은 척해 보지만 I know 왠지 모르게 눈앞에 비가 내리고 그대로만 아무 말 할 수 없었어 하루만 멀어지는 구름을 잡아줘 너를 막아서 힘없지 않게 흘러가는 이 시간을 또 잡아줘 이 순간을 멈춰 사랑이 멎지 않게 하늘은 먹구름에 눈물을 쏟아내고 내 아래쳐 먹노와 불러봐도 빗소리에 잠겨날 삼켜도 괜찮아 심장은 젖지 않아 번지는 기억을 씻어내지 마 지워내려 하지 마 이어진 끈을 녹이려 하지 마 끊어내려 하지 마 얼음 같은 비가 심장에 박혔나 봐 이끌지 없는 radiant spell 내게 돌아오는 주문이 된다면 돌아온다면 온몸이 젖어도 견딜 수 있을 텐데 멀어지는 구름을 잡아줘 너를 막아서 빗물이 멎지 않게 흘러가는 이 시간을 또 잡아줘 이 순간을 멈춰 사랑이 멎지 않게 손을 뻗어도 크게 불러도 퍼붓는 비틈의 힘이 해져 맘속에 참았던 비가 다시 쏟아져 눈물이 언제쯤 그칠 수 있을까 멀어지는 구름을 잡아줘 너를 막아서 빗물이 멎지 않게 흘러가는 이 시간을 또 잡아줘 이 순간을 멈춰 사랑이 멎지 않게 잃어버린 널 찾아 헤매다 너를 놓아준 빗물을 원망해도 마지막 흘리는 마음을 담아 네 눈을 감아 사랑이 멎지 않게
To me, Raining Spell for Love just might be, I would say, the hidden track of this album. Like, I feel like that it's simple enough that it gets your, that just makes it easy to listen to. The harmonies, the vocals, everything just with it kind of just really works out really, really well. It is a little bit of a simpler, safer song, but, I will say, though, if you go in just thinking that it's going to be, dang it, I'm sorry. If you just come in with it just kind of thinking that it's going to be, just a standard song, I think that that's where you get kind of a little confused. I think that it's a little bit of a hidden gem. I really do. I think that song really kind of just hits on a lot of cylinders that I think just really, really shows off the quality of musicianship, shows off the quality of vocalship. It goes to show you that simplicity sometimes is key. I think the other thing about it is that, like I said, it's just really kind of an underrated gem. Really, really nice. I am impressed with how cool and how much I liked that song. Every single time I would go through this album, I always felt like that Raining Spell for Love kind of marked this new part and this new freshness of the album. And it kind of broke a little bit of the safeness of what I got from Closer and The Melody. But, I mean, it's still a little bit safe, but I don't think it's as crazily like the other ones. But, there's just enough spice in it to just kind of really revive the senses a little bit. And, I just think that it's a hidden gem. It's a hidden gem. That's all I can say. So, anyway, moving on to Mystery.
한번쯤은 너의 맘이 내 맘과 같은지 의심을 해 얼핏 널 보면 다르지 않은 것 같은데 서둘러 재촉한다면 훨훨 날아갈 듯해 네가 알면 지겨울까 혼자서만 또 고민해 꼭 날 향해 빛나는 눈빛 잡힐 듯 멀어진 손길 사실 모르겠어 난 여전히 너의 목소리 표정과 네 꼬리 모든 건 미스테리 오늘 밤 난 널 전부 다 말해주길 기다렸나 다가가도 될지 멈춰야 될지 알려줘 please 너는 미스테리 나의 미스테리 내가 느끼는 이대로를 톡 바로 움직여야 한다는 게 후회 없는 선택이라고 네 맘이 갈피를 아직 못 잡고 흔들리면 내가 확신을 심어줄 기회를 너에게 줘 나를 향해 기우는 몸짓 닿을 듯 남겨둔 거리 아직 모르겠어 널 완벽히 너의 목소리 표정과 네 볼이 모든 건 미스테리 오늘 밤 난 널 전부 다 말해주길 기다렸나 다가가도 될지 멈춰야 될지 알려줘 please 너는 미스테리 나의 미스테리 그리 다르지 않는 차야 우린 분명 좋을 테니 걱정 마 honey 바로 여기 풀린 mystery 너의 mystery
So, Mystery is kind of the reverse of Raining Spell. It brings back the weirdness, and it brings back the daring of songwriting. Sometimes you have to experiment. Is it going to eliminate some people? Yes. Is that a bad thing? No. I don't think so. So this song's not going to vibe, I don't think, with everybody. But I do think that it is a very cool song. And I do think the majority of people that listen to it probably would actually still be able to find it pretty accessible. But I do think that it might just be a little bit too weird for some people. I like weird for the most part. I think that it can be really fun. And I think that it really goes to show you that sometimes you just cannot be afraid. And that's what I like about it. I think that it kind of goes to show that sometimes you gotta take that step out of the comfort zone to create something that just is a little bit different. And oddly enough, again, I don't think that I would skip it. I think that it's just a fantastic song. I really, really enjoyed it. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm telling you, this whole theme, this whole album has just been really, really cool. And honestly, like, I think Mystery kind of ended up for me kind of being a little bit of a saving grace, because by this point we've heard a lot of stuff and they brought back some new life into the album. Not saying that it was dying, but it kind of broke up that monotony a little bit of the safeness that you had been hearing from the other songs, and just went kind of like paradox and just kind of went a little off the rails in a good way. Speaking of that, though, I do think that, like, vocally speaking, really cool. I really liked the way that they just kind of played with the whole theme of it. Just, it was kind of a mysterious song. I think that it's just a really, really solid song. I do. The thing that is that it's just how it feels, right? And I try so hard to come into these albums to be as critical as possible. And honestly, I have not felt that yet. I have not felt the need to be like, I haven't found anything really super negative, other than the fact that sometimes it just plays it a little bit safe. This album is a heavy hitter. This album is a heavy hitter. Moving on. More Days With You.
한 발 또 한 발 걸어갈 때마다 하얀 카펫은 아닐 테지만
Just walk with me girl 어떤 길보단 같은 길을 갈 테니까 yeah. 수많은 계절을 지나쳐온 사이 서로 눈빛은 다 깊어졌지만 익숙함이란 감정이 한 뼘 다가가 더 물끄러미 바라보며 그 속엔 언제나 you only you 왔던 길보다 걸어갈 길이 훨씬 많잖아 Singing like you 저 맘 그대로 너를 불러 또 한 번 해도 do you 말해줘 do you 내 맘은 변함없이 늘 그때와 같아 이 길 끝에서 대답해줘 더 가볼까 한치 앞부터 떠올리면 내내 듣지만 처음으로 나선 그곳에 우리 그려 한 걸음이 버거울 때면 이만큼 오늘이 돌아와 눈부신 만큼만 짙은 행복사이 문득 아픔도 섞여 있겠지만 한 발 멀리서 한눈 담아보면 전부 한 폭의 그림이 돼 그 속엔 언제나 you only you 왔던 길보다 걸어갈 길이 훨씬 많잖아 Singing like you 천만 그대로 너를 불러 또 한 번 I do you 내줘 do you 내 맘은 변함없이 늘 그때와 같아 이 길 끝에서 대답해줘 더 가볼까 너와 같이 눈앞에 펼친 긴 축복 속을 향해 걸어 눈을 나설 때 서로의 곁에 지금처럼만 너와 난 나란히 Singing like you Singing like you 그 어떤 눈물 없이 늘 웃음만 가득히 그대로 영원히 너의 곁에 언제나 You only you 왔던 길보다 걸어갈 길이 훨씬 많잖아 Singing like you 걸어갈 길이 훨씬 많잖아 저 맘 그대로 너를 불러
So More Days With You to me is a very good ballad. I think the nice thing about it is that it's mature feeling. It doesn't just feel like some children singing about it or some teenagers singing about it. This is like people who understand. And that's what I really like about it. And I like the playfulness in the voices that they use. It's just so nice to be able to hear a ballad like this, you know, and I don't want to throw the other group under the bus because of this, but like this to me is kind of what I would prefer in ballads. This didn't feel like it was cheesy. It didn't like they were trying to add some sort of edge to it, you know, like I remember when I was listening to the Zia album, like when I heard that, I was like, oh, don't try to be like, girl, you're the one for me. It's all for you. And it's like, please, like you're not, it's not a type of song where you try and sound hard, you know, like you don't try and sound like you are this like tough guy who has a bit of a soft side. Like just write a love song. And I think that this, like to me, this is kind of the blueprint of like what it could be like and what it should be like. And I think it's a very capable song. I think that it's like I said, the kind of just the feeling of the maturity behind it is so good. And, you know, honestly, it has almost like a little bit of a folky feel to it with the yoo-hoo-hoo-hoos. And I think that it suits it. Again, like when I hear that song, I just imagine just this really warm feeling, this great just atmosphere. You know, maybe there's fireflies off in the distance and there's a campfire going around, and it's just, I don't know, it just paints the image, and it just kind of does a really good job at that. It might be slightly safe, but I don't think that that's actually a bad thing with this song. I actually kind of think that it was good, that it was a little bit safer. And, you know, I just don't think that you need to try and be unsafe or too radical with love songs, or, you know, with a song that's called More Days With You. It doesn't need all that craziness. And, you know, it was very well executed. And I think that this it just kind of goes still to prove that this album has just a lot of guts, and it just has a lot of, you know, it's so, it's a really just well-written piece. There's not really anything that I have found. This album is just written so competently. It's almost hard to wrap the mind around in a ways. It's really good. And I think More Days With You is just another solid reason as to why I would think that. So, all right. Let's throw this out to Tell Me Baby.
줄게 루돌프도 인정해 이미 이건 역대급 이벤트 눈앞에 날 보면 넌 어떤 표정지을까 있는 없이도 아름다운 곳 꿈만 같은 얘기 이루어줄 거야 Tell me what you want you 내게 말해준다면 전해줄 하늘도 날아 못할 일이 없어 I'm your Santa 잊혀진 도심 너의 머리맡에 두고 아침이 오면 고개를 들며 감널 찾아길 준비 오케이 촛불을 켜둘게 함께 두 눈을 감겨 어린아이가 돼 크리스마스인데 누가 뭐라 해 마음껏 들떠 기대해도 좋을걸 내 전부 yeah. 주고 싶어 Tell me what you want you yeah. 행복하다면 이뤄줄게 꼭 Tell me what you want you 기다리고 내 지금 너의 곁으로 Tell me what you want Tell me what you want Tell me baby Tell me baby
Oh. Interesting. That was not in the Spotify version. How interesting. Okay. Well, so here's the truth of it, right? I feel like Tell Me Baby is a little bit of the sequel to More Days With You. And like most sequels, sometimes it's not as good as the first. I think this Tell Me Baby is a very good song. As you can see, I was very much vibing out to it. But I think it kind of does what More Days With You does, but maybe not quite as well. Again, a little bit safe, but I don't want to make that seem like that it's like the worst thing of all time. But you know, it just sometimes things are a little bit safe, and it's just kind of like, okay, well, that's fine, it's safe, and it's kind of a double-edged sword. Like, it's good because, you know, that means, you know, you're going to be getting something quality that you can go with, but at the same time too, it's just kind of, sometimes it does kind of have, I think that's the one blemish about this album, is that sometimes when it plays, it's safe. Sometimes it makes it feel more existentially there, because the fact of the matter is that when it goes dangerous, it goes really, really into the, you know, into the wild of being unique and experimental. And so it's just kind of a weird double, like I said, a double-edged sword. But the truth of the matter is, though, is that, does that mean it's a bad song? No, absolutely not. I actually prefer some things about this song. I do like the rap in it, and I think that's something that I can say for the first time in this album, aside from obviously anything that's associated with Burn the Floor. That, to me, like, the rap in this really kind of gives it an extra edge that is kind of separates itself from More Days With You. And I think that it does it very nice, and I think it does it very competently. I think that out of all the songs on here, this might be, to me, one of the weaker songs. But I think that even still, like, it's kind of like, and I bring him up a lot because I actually kind of model a lot of what I do after Finn McKenty. And, you know, it's kind of like Super Junior at the worst is still better than like 90% of everything else, right? So, and I don't even think that this is even their worst at all. That's the crazy thing. So I think that it's just it's a solid song. It plays it a little bit safe. And, you know, again, it kind of feels like the credits of everything, right? This feels like the credits of the album. Super was the intro, and it came in and it knocked your teeth down your throat, and then it just kind of ended in this nice, you know, way where everybody kind of mutually departs and says, hey, I hope that you have a good one, you know? But in any case, that's just how it feels. I think that Tell Me Baby is still good. And, you know, I wondered who would be the one. And I think we've answered that question in this video. Now, I'm going to be truthful right here for just a quick second. Do I think this is a perfect album, 5 out of 5? No, I don't. However, for the first time on the channel, we have our very first no skip album. I don't think there's a single song that I ever felt like that I just wanted to skip past. I genuinely just kind of would let it go, and to these like safer songs that I would say were the weakest of the album, I still didn't want to turn it off. I didn't. And, you know, I think there's just kind of something to be said for it because, I mean, I think that this will inevitably be a very close score. But, like, I really think, for example, like, this song is a lot more accessible. And I think that it's just got a little bit of everything. And I'm not going to try and, like, make a comparison between the two of these. But, like, for example, I think that there were more songs that I enjoyed on this album overall. And, you know, we're not even going to bring that up. But this is truly a no skip album for me. And again, I think that just means that it just goes to show you at the writing and the maturity of the writing for Super Junior. I do. I think this is very, very close to what could be a perfect album. And it's just, yeah, I wouldn't skip past any of it. I wouldn't. So, anyway, this album brings about many things. It makes you happy. It makes you think. It makes you feel. And it makes you have these moments where you just think to yourself, this is reality? You know, it's a very interesting, warping, mind-bending experience where you get sometimes where it feels like a warm beach, and sometimes you've been locked inside of an escape room with absolutely no clues. And in reality, it brings a very cohesive and solid experience for the listener. Like I said, I don't think there's a single song that I feel like I would ever skip. And so, I don't know. That's just the truth of how it feels to me. This is one of the strongest albums that we've had on the channel. And so, you know, with that being said, I think that this is where I would kind of like to take all the scores and everything I've talked about, throw it into the aggregate, and give us a score. And so, here we go. This is a right call. I feel great about that score, and like I said, having the first no skip album is an interesting one considering we've only had 3 or 4 album reviews, and I wondered who it was going to be. And honestly, to me, I'm not surprised that it comes from one of the big 4. We will see more or less who will now be able to land the first perfect album. If the first no skip album can exist, then so can the first not a perfect album out there. So, in any case, this is truly just more or less how I feel about it. I hope that that you feel the same. Actually, it's up to you. And music is subjective, but I think that I've made a pretty decent point as to why I think that this behemoth of an album that is both very daring yet safe comes together in a way that just has not been shown in many other ways. And because of that, I think that this is truly just one of the best albums that I've heard thus far. And it doesn't help that the fact that they have Burn the Floor, which is considered, I consider to be the greatest K-pop song. So, anyway, thank you all so much, and we shall see you for the next album review.